Bramborough back with some ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. We've got a new France campaign here where we're actually getting the campaign started. The first episode was taken up with getting all of our various ships' designs suitcased and procuring them to form our fleet. And not gonna lie, here on the legendary difficulty that I'm playing this campaign on, I'm a little apprehensive because I feel like the ship designs are probably fine. I feel like they're competitive for the 1890 time frame. Not too worried about that, but we just don't have very many. 4 battleships, 6 heavy, 6 light cruisers, and 16 torpedo boats. That's it. Our Navy is significantly smaller than any of the other powers. Even Austria and Italy have much larger navies than we do. I mean, look at this. Italy, who is probably our closest naval rival here in the Western Mediterranean, they've got 79 ships and they are building 21 more for an even 100. And oh, by the way, their economy is more than 50% larger than ours too. And this is where the legendary difficulty comes into play, right? It's not in the tactical battles. It's in this darn budget, GDP, all that stuff. Okay, well, that is what it is. So there's going to be quite a period of peace here, and I'm not just going to click through month by month. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to proceed on, see how the relations do, and I'll pop in for a snapshot of kind of what's going on about every 6 months or so, unless a particularly interesting dilemma happens to pop up in an event or something of that nature. Okay. Right, it is 6 months later, and not much has happened on the diplomatic front. Our relations are very gradually deteriorating with Germany and Austria-Hungary, and I think that's got to be coming from events that those countries are getting, not me. I haven't had any events affecting either one of those, and there is no tension change going on at sea, either positive or negative. We are not improving nor deteriorating with anybody. The country I would most like to pick a fight with is France. So I'm not doing it this turn yet. I'm kind of moving some ships around first, but I think I'm going to put a couple task forces out here into the West Med under sea control and see if that doesn't drive down relations with Italy a little bit. Okay, January 1891, and you will notice I don't have task forces out in the Western Med like I said I was going to, and the reason is I did not notice until I went to build a couple more cruisers that we have updated into 1.08.6. And yeah, they fiddled with armor again. And it turned out that 2 of my 4 ship designs were affected by that enough to where they were unbuildable because their weight had changed a little bit and they were slightly overweight. So, didn't take too much to recover from that. Was able to refit both designs, and it was an extremely minor refit. But I had to send them all back into port to refit. So now we have an updated version of the Toulon Heavy and the Lenoir Light Cruiser. And there's practically no difference. I had to shave a little bit of armor off both, and I did slightly decrease the size of the guns on Toulon. So they're not 6.9s, they're 6.7s. And I think they're down to 15% elongated. Lenoir, I just had to bring a little bit of armor down. So that means that all of our existing ships of these two classes they've already been refit and are fine again. But those are the existing ships. I still cannot build any Toulon or Lenoir class cruisers because I have to use the designs and they are not eligible. The good news is, in a recent update, they've now fixed it up so that one can copy a refit design into a new design that is build eligible. And so now we have I have no idea how this would be said. Valdec-Rousseau class heavy, I should have changed the name on that. The Valdec-Rousseau heavy cruiser and the Nielly light cruiser, and these two designs are identical to the Toulon and Lenoir refit designs. I just copied them. So these are all existing ships to these designs refit and new ships built to these designs, just to maintain our current designs that we can build. There's nothing new to these. We had picked up a couple of minor like cost-saving, armor strengthening upgrades, which might also be baked into those designs too. I didn't actually change any components per se. Okay. So as far as the diplomatic front, nope, the needles haven't really changed. Other than Britain has started picking a fight with us in the English Channel. And so we're still friendly or on the positive, but this is decreasing. We were up at 35, we're down to 20 because every month we're getting a tiny decrease in relations in the English Channel. I don't even have ships up here. Le Havre is my only English Channel port. I pulled the ships out of it. Nope, apparently there's still, the fact that we have a port is enough, apparently. So we may wind up having to fight England. I would prefer not, with the size of fleet that I have, not only because, well, they're the biggest navy and we're the smallest, but also because even if I were to sink a bunch of ships and win that fight, I don't know what I really want. Gibraltar, I guess, would be helpful for us, I suppose. In any case, that is the situation in January 1891. We did complete the two heavy cruisers that I built at the beginning of the campaign, and I've got two more building. Actually, I think these two, yeah. And as soon as these two get done building, well, they're going to have to refit. All right, that's the situation. Okay, it is July 1891. Here is the tension situation. Still barely friends with Britain, but as you can see, it has dropped. We've continued to drop also with Germany and Austria-Hungary. Not much change with Italy. Somehow Britain is managing to drive down their relations with everybody in the English Channel. Like even Austria-Hungary and Italy. They don't have any ports up here, they don't have any ships up here. I don't see how, but they're doing it. Not every single turn, but I've seen negative relations in the English Channel between Britain and Italy and Austria-Hungary. And Germany as well, even though Germany doesn't have any ports on the English Channel either. Only they do have this one fleet, which might be in the Channel, I'm not sure. Not quite sure where the English Channel becomes the North Sea. Is it right here at Dover? Or is it further up this way? I don't know. in any case, I am trying to build our GDP as much as I can. And so I've got this slider set fairly high, and we are seeing a fair amount of growth. GDP is growing. We started below 7 million, and a year and a half into the campaign, we're at 9 million. So our budget is growing as well, but of course, so is everybody else's. Relative to the other powers, we're treading water. That said, I mean, we do have more money. I've been able to build a few more cruisers. I think I'm going to build a couple more Normandy-class battleships. They cost about $500,000 a month to build. I've got about a $2 million per month surplus. So I'm going to build a pair of these. I'm going to put them in Nice, which is where I've been building other heavy cruisers to escort them. I've built a few more torpedo boats that are still 3 months away. And I think I'm going to go ahead and add a couple more of these light cruisers as well. Let's go ahead and do that. These will be the Nielly class, which are identical to the refit Linois. They're the same design. Okay. And we will put those one needs to go to Brest. Should have been La Rochelle. Messed that up. And we'll put this one in Marseille. Okay, so we're at 36 ships with 14 building. A bunch of those are TVs, though. So we're on track for a 50 ship fleet. We've got crew training maxed out. And we're up pretty high on the sliders for transport capacity and for tech budget. So I think things are going about as well as they can be at the moment. I do want to check. A year and a half into the campaign, I've had crew training max this entire time. They've said multiple times in updates, okay, we finally fixed the crew training. Let's see what the training levels are on our ships. Normandy? Trained. Okay, looks like it finally took, after multiple attempts by the devs, to fix it. Yeah, but beforehand, I think a year and a half in, our starting ships would have been seasoned or veteran by now. They're not. They're trained, which is as it should be. That's intended. It was always supposed to be that way, going back to when the campaign was first introduced about 7 or 8 months ago. And now it's finally working as intended. They need combat experience in order to go above trained. Which actually brings up a good question. Do they actually have to enter battle and fight in a tactical battle? Or is simply transitioning into wartime enough? Logic would say the former. However, we'll see what happens. So that's the situation in July 1891. January 1892, another 6 months in, and the political situation is that our worst relations are with Germany, but it's still only about -50. So war is not imminent with Germany. relations continue to deteriorate with Britain. And that is basically because everybody's relationships are deteriorating with Britain in the English Channel. Now, for us and for Germany, that makes some sense. I got no idea why this is affecting British relations with the Mediterranean-only powers. War is not imminent with Britain, but these relations continually decline. So I think war might be eventual with Britain, except for the fact that Britain and Germany are likely to go to war before anybody else does. They're at minus 77 with each other. When that war happens, that's going to have a pretty dramatic effect on the relations of both of these two countries with the other three. So we'll have to see how that works out. I would imagine that when Germany and Britain go to war, we'll probably get a pretty big boost to our relations with Britain. At the same time, we'll probably get a pretty significant hit to our relations with Germany. On the financial front, I have slowly been able to increase the transport capacity slider to the point where it is now maxed out. So I am growing this GDP as much as I can, and in fact we've reached 10 million in GDP with over 10% annual economic growth now. So that's good news. And we've increased our naval funds to over 30 million. Well, I can't improve this anymore. So now I'm going to start using this monthly balance to drive up tech. Obviously, we're not going to be able to build a comparable number of ships to our various rivals. So let's try to out-tech them if we can. So let's drive this tech up to where we've still got about 1 million per, somewhere about there, 84%. And then I'll continually, incrementally bringing that up, maintaining a small monthly surplus. As far as our shipbuilding program, we're still 8 months out from our 5th and 6th battleship, and we've got 2 more light cruisers coming in 4 months. Oh, and a couple of heavy cruisers as well. The similarly named Tonnerre and Tonnant. Okay, that's the situation for January 1892. It's June 1892, but I believe that Britain and Germany are going to war now. I haven't gotten the actual message yet. And you can see right here, this is a good example. Britain, negative relations with every power, specifically in the English Channel. But I think it's gone far enough where apparently Germany and Britain are going to war. So let's see how that changes things. War! Oh my goodness. That actually dropped our relations against Britain and improved it with Germany, which was the opposite of what I was expecting there. Kind of looks like all 4 powers are tending to gang up on Britain. That's not necessarily a bad thing, although I don't really know what Italy and Austria-Hungary, or we, for that matter, are going to do to Britain. I don't think it's in our interest for Germany to get completely murdered in this war, though. Might have to start shifting ships up into the North Atlantic and English Channel ports. Maybe. We'll have to see how it goes. More tech there. Our torpedo launchers improve a little bit. I don't think this is one that actually requires a refit. I think our torpedo stuff just gets better with this, even on existing ships, I think. Okay, Britain going to war with Austria-Hungary as well, which further deteriorates our relations with Britain and improves them with Austria-Hungary. Those two events together may be enough to get us to, yeah. I think that's going to put us at minus 100 with Britain, which is probably the power I least wanted to fight. Whereas the power I most want to fight is Italy. And, you know, that's the one power that we're best buddies with. At only +5. We're not really buddies with anybody. But yeah, we're at minus 99 with Britain, so I think war with Britain is about as close to imminent as it can get. It'll probably break out in the next month or two. As far as the financial situation, still maxed out on transports. I think I can tweak this tech up just a little bit more. Yeah, 88% now. Well, we've completed increasing the size of our shipyard. So I'm going to go ahead and do that again. That might put us, yeah, that put us negative. Which we can tolerate for a few months. I'm not going to bring the tech slider down because as soon as war erupts, our naval budget is going to increase dramatically. The problem is, if war does come with Britain, and it seems like it's going to, even if we do well in tactical battles, we are probably going to have a heck of a time with losing transports in the North Atlantic and the English Channel. Not to mention, we have no hope. If I put every single ship in the French Navy into sea control mode in the middle of the English Channel, we still would not come remotely close to matching Britain's power projection. Not even close. Luckily, that by itself is not enough for England to blockade us. They would need to get double our power projection in the English Channel and the North Atlantic and the Western Mediterranean. Now, they could do it in the North Atlantic and the English Channel. I don't know if they can do it in the West Med. I think we're going to have some hard choices to make fairly soon. But that's the way it sits in June 1892. Okay, I think this is it right here. Following month, July 1892, and we've got a serious incident. The British Empire, which is pretty clearly going to send us to war, depending on the choice. The warlike choice gives us 15 naval prestige. It does increase unrest a little bit, but we're 0 right now, and gives us minus 30 relations. That will definitely put us at war. The other option is drop a little naval prestige, but we get some relations. I think that just puts it off a few months, and would cost more money than we have. It would actually put us negative for naval funds. Not for very long, but it would do it. So basically, we give them our entire piggy bank for a temporary reprieve. And 3 or 4 months from now, we wind up in an even worse situation than now. And the current situation isn't all that terrible because Germany and Austria are already at war with Britain, and at least in the first month of their war, they appear to be winning. So if there's any time to have a war with Britain, it is now. So I'm going to go ahead and choose they're asking for trouble, we should never accept this accusation. Prepare for war if that is what they want. And meanwhile, we have this thing. Political turmoil in Italy. Do we want to support the anarchists? Well, I sure don't want to give Italy money. Or even more money. And actually, Italy is the country I most want to go to war with. So yeah, let's support the anarchists in Rome. War! Improved relations with Germany. Not nearly enough for an alliance. We're nowhere close to that territory. Improved relations with Italy. Boo. Improved relations with Austria. And more bad relations between Britain and all those countries, two of whom they're already at war with anyway, but that sends down their relations with Italy as well. Okay, well, off to a good start there. They've lost 7 transports in the East Med, no doubt from the Austrians. Okay, so, quote, the main war going on is this thing over here between Germany and Austria versus Britain, but we are now also in a separate war with Britain ourselves, not in alliance with Germany and Austria. I think that's an important point. And we can see there that our monthly naval budget zoomed up. We've now got a $21 million surplus. Now we could use this to build some more battleships, and I think I will, but battleships will take a while to pump out, about a year. We can get some cruisers out faster than that and build them in places like Brest and La Rochelle and Le Havre. Let's bang out 4 more heavy cruisers. Four more light cruisers. Let's do 2 more. Well, let's see where we're at there. Yeah, still got plenty of money. Let's go with 2 more Normandy-class battleships. And no doubt we're going to lose some of these torpedo boats. Let's build another batch of about 8 of those TBs by Carquois class. Okay, let's build the let's put the cruisers and the 2 battleships. Let's build them in La Rochelle. Cruisers to build in Brest. And I really shouldn't have done that. I should have built these things in the West Med because they're going to commission with cadet crews. That was kind of dumb. I should have built them in the Med and let them come up to trained first. In any case, they're several months away. Who knows what the situation will be by then. Let's build a... we'll just put all these torpedo boats in Toulon. Nope, Marseille. Okay. Let's see how our crew pool is doing. 15,000 in the crew pool. And I think that will be sufficient to crew all of the ships that we just built. We still have a monthly balance of plus 18 million. Let's go ahead and max out the tech budget. Everything, all 3 sliders are maxed out. At the moment, we're doing the max build on shipyard. We got a bunch of ships building. So I think we're doing what we can do here. And I think it's time to send... Is it time to send ships? I don't know if we want to throw ships into the English Channel. They got a lot of combat power in there. Maybe. My concept here is they're in a war with Germany. Most of their ship losses, hopefully, will be coming from that, as well as a lot of their ship repair costs. Which Germany and Austria have already scored on 17,000 victory points. And Britain has got 34 ships in repair. Now, they've got a total of 141, so it's not like their navy's been sunk. But that's got to be costing them a lot of money. What I would prefer is, while this is their main effort, hopefully we can kind of snag some smaller battles over here in the North Atlantic that will add to Britain's woes. I've got 2 battleship-centered task forces at sea now in the West Med, and that is just not where we need them at the moment. Let's sortie them both to the North Atlantic. I think it's going to take them a couple turns to get there. Already on sea control. Let's move these light cruisers out as well. And initially, for now, let's put them all in protect mode. See if we can limit our loss of transports. Okay, on to August 1892. Okay, well, Italy, at least, plus relations with them, which I'm not a huge fan of, to be honest, but at least for the time being, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Okay, Britain has lost a transport, this time in the North Sea. That's due to Germany. And we have a number... They have sent a task force into the Western Mediterranean. And we've got several battles. I don't know if I'm going to do all 3 of these in this episode, but let's get at least one done. Right up here in the English Channel, despite the fact I didn't send any ships up there, we've got a light cruiser battle. We are defending a convoy near Brest against 2 heavy cruisers. And here in the West Med, that's an interesting fight. We've got a lot of torpedo boats and 3 of our heavy cruisers against 1 of their battleships. Let's get this light cruiser battle done with and see how ours stacks up against theirs. Nielly versus Superb. Ours are armed with 4.9s and 3.9s, 4 torpedo tubes. Superb is armed with 4.2s and 3.6s, although quite a lot of 4.2s and 2 torpedo tubes. Let's see how this goes. Okay, Superb is sighted. There she is. I think she's got more guns. I think we've got better guns. I don't really want this to come within torpedo range. I do have torpedoes off at the moment. Oh, looks like we've already... Oh, looks like we're popping it pretty good already. Let's go ahead and smoke up. Wow. Wow. That was fast. Well, that's a ringing endorsement for the 4.9-inch gun. Goodness gracious. We just wrecked that thing. So quick. 3 hits from the 4.2s did 1,100 damage. And only 1 hit from the... Basically 4 hits put that thing down with... for flooding. It was penetration since she just flooded out. She must have like few bulkheads, I guess. It wasn't the damage, it was the flooding. That was surprising. And it bodes well for future confrontations with British cruisers. Looks like they've got a design flaw. Standard bulkheads. So yeah, it's not max, but it's not few either. Interesting. I'm still surprised at that. All right. So we've come to the end of the road to war. And we've got an Anglo-French war here at sea, and first shots have been fired. A couple more battles in the offing. A couple convoy defense battles, it looks like. I think we're defending in both cases. Yes. If you like what we're doing with the channel, if you like this content, then leave a like, leave a comment, maybe even subscribe. And as I record this, there's only a couple episodes in this series, but you may be watching it later. And I'm linking the playlist here so that you can easily find the other episodes in this series. At any rate, thank you very, very much for watching. I appreciate it.